Hello guys, my name is Modulation. Welcome back with another video, and this is a continuation from where the first one ended. I'll just try to emphasize certain things that are left out, or not all, but some of the things that are left out. Yeah, I'll just try to do my best to make sure I cover it up. And for this one, I'll just go through these right here: Super Soul, direct wave sampler, mini synth, GMS, transistor based and slicer. Yeah, just these for today. Yeah, so let's get to it. And by the way, if you haven't, you might as well check out the first one. Covers everything, like all other things that I might not mention in here. Yeah, well, most likely covered in there. So I can also cover these, but not in full. I'll just try to give you a better understanding of what everything does. Yeah, let's do this. So I'll start with the Super Soul. Just the normal, no presets. Yeah, just the normal thing. And keys, I selected F already. Let's see what we got right now. Okay, so this is just like the normal preset. The default setting before you do anything. They just created a quick chord progression. Yeah. So let's give it a go. So the first thing you're gonna see is right here. It's pulse mode. The first menu you're gonna see is the oscillator, and this is kind of this for Super Soul. This selects the actual wave you're going to be manipulating, and as you can see below it, we have something over here called pulse mode, something here called pulse mode, and as long as this is off, this is a saw wave. Yeah, so let's start with pulse mode off as it is. So when the pulse mode is off, the only parameters you're actually controlling are, as far as this menu goes, are going to be starting from here or in this side. Yeah, so let's get to it. The first one you will see is Unison, and this sort of what this does is it determines how many notes you can actually hear every time you click on one note. Yeah, so currently if I click on one note, let's say F, you hear one note, and if I change it, let's say to 3, and I just click on one note, F again, you can actually hear more notes. Yeah, etc, etc. So if I do 12, then I click one note, so that's 1 by 12, or if I play a chord like 3 chords there, to be multiplied by 12, and you don't, okay, that unless you got some cool stuff going on, just leave it at maybe 3 or 6, I don't know, somewhere there, 3. Yeah, because what I've noticed is the more I layer the notes, and the closer they are, the less louder it gets, and just the more muffled and everything gets. So choose your battles wisely. Yeah, so let me just play a chord. So currently I chose 3 voices, and that will equal to every time one note plays, every time that one note plays, you hear 3 voices. So if this chord will actually result in you hearing about 9, yeah, that's 3 by 3, 9 voices for that chord. So this should be louder, to sound something like this. And the detune feature right here affects the extra voices, yeah, by detuning them. Okay, and also sort of thickens them out a bit. Yeah, give it a listen. Give a listen to what it does with it on. Well, as I turn it on while playing. Yeah, so that's, and the Unison pan also pans out extra voices. Yeah, the since we have more than two voices, yeah, it pans out that. As you can hear, it gives the perception of a fuller image, because the extra voice is actually panned out on the both sides, giving you a more stereo feel. Yeah, and the detune spray, that spreads out the detune in two directions. Say that the first spread, when you take it up, it widens it, and then if you lower it down, it kind of thickens it and brings it together. So you get this. Just put the analyzer here. I don't know which. I don't know if it's super zoomed in. What do I? Let's see. Does it have? Let's go on 3 says nothing. Yeah. So that's Unison. That's detune spread. And for Unison phase, basically, let me just try to give you an example of what I'm talking about. For Unison phase, every time you play a wave, a wave plays. Let's say this is a normal wave. It should go something like this. All right. It's for a saw wave, and since it has multiple voices, and they're all playing. Practically, maybe like another one going, apart on the drawing, another one going, I don't know. And then so what you most likely notice is with what Unison phase, it kind of, the extra voices, it changes the starting frequency of the so meaning that so if everything starts at a different position, then it creates some different kind, creates this phasing effect. But if if the frequencies like actually are exactly creating an opposite wave from the one on top, like that, they cancel out each other. So that's something to keep in mind as well. It's pretty cool for other effects. And let me just widen these codes. Let me invert these codes so that, like, I don't know, we get a different feel. It's getting a bit boring. Just try to invert this. So we go. And let's just try to create. I've simply done is flip, inverted one note and added a bass as a bass note. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and everything's a bit more spread out. So mainly this is used. We usually use this for like pads and a lot of different stuff. Yeah. So the retrigger. Let's move on to the retrigger option. The retrigger option allows for you allows for every time a new note is played. It kind of allows for the wave to restart again from the neutral point with, is it without phase? Yeah, from the neutral point and then phase. I think like phases and like from, yeah, it allows that. That's what the retrigger does, as far as I've noticed. Yeah, and we're gonna move to the one we delayed at first at the beginning. So this option here, so immediately you click this here, you turn on the yeah, it's not, you got now to you turn on the post wave, and from here nothing happens. Let me play. If this is on 0, like here, the down, nothing happens. Yeah, so here are the controls that you get. The first one controls the post wave, and from from the width to everything, and then the next option here you see is the sub oscillator. Basically this is 1 octave below the post wave, so this is 1 octave below. So if you play a note in F4, it will be in F3 on this one here. It will be in F3. Yeah, keep that in mind. Might be helpful for something you might be doing later on. Yeah. So if I start to turn it up, let me just try turning it up. So this is everything is 1 octave lower, and this is and the next option I'm gonna look at, apart from the super saw, will have to be, let me just turn this off. Should I turn it off? Should I just leave it? I don't know. I don't know if it affects. I don't know if when you switch it up, I think it's a different parameter and it affects something else. So pointless. So this is time synced. This is tempo synced. I'm sure it should, yeah, that's what it does. It syncs this to the tempo. Let me just check this out a bit. I think this should be let me just see how they explain this for the super sync, so that I don't know. If you assume, just, I feel like with the super sync, one wave, I mean one oscillator is actually controlling the other one. Now which one is which? And also we also get an envelope. That's pretty cool, right here. Wait, did the previous one have one? No, it didn't. Wait. Okay, it has one on the master, which should be the level, which we'll get to in a bit. Let me just try to look at I think they should have a menu here that should help us figure this out, because mostly when you're working out, when you're working with these things, you just like never even get to like question the entire thing, because you don't know, like you just try to stick to the parameters that you do get, and either way you still figure out how to work through it, even if you don't get it. Just for the sake of helping you guys understand better, I'll just try to look it up. Let me see. What we got here? The super. So which part was that? The super sync? Where could it be? Too far. Super sync here. A pair of oscillators, master and slave, just like I thought. One should affect the other. So work together. The master oscillator restarts the period of the slave oscillator so that they will have the same base frequency. Okay. Or instead of the other one having being a lower octave, they all share the base frequency. When the slave is at a lower pitch to the master, it is abruptly cut off mid-cycle. Okay, I get. This produces a sound-rich harmonic with harmonics and instantly recognizable. Okay. All right, cool. And then let's just check out one more option, the flip, which I wanted to reconfirm. So flip sync envelope. It should flip the direction depending on the notes. Okay, I get it now. So if the previous note was higher than the current note, the sync envelope generator mount direction is reversed. Oh, cool. That's pretty cool. Let's go back to work. Yeah, there we go. So this is an envelope generator right here. Okay, that affects how that operates. So basically we have two oscillators, two waves. One controls the other one, yeah. And if you turn the flip on, it triggers everything and it flips everything. It flips the two around, yeah. And also, so the amount option also affects how much. Let me just play this a bit and see how much it does. Let me just do this. How much modulation we actually hear. For as far as whenever you're working with options that seem to have like two direction, like for this one which is on the center, they mostly do control movement, and the movement is in two directions. It can either go forward or backwards, so always keep that in mind whenever you're dealing with an amount and then it is on the center. Usually it controls direction as far as you could hear. It felt like it also affected so right now it's currently just affecting the pitch. Yeah. So let me just try to see how it sounds when I flip it. So that's so it does that. So the flip just like gets the low frequencies and takes them up. If the frequencies was up and then brings it down. So simple. Now we have that figured out. Yeah. The next one will be even easier. The next parameter will have to be the filter. This is the easiest. This should be the quickest one to go through. Yeah. The first thing you're going to notice is the cutoff. This is a low pass filter actually. So let's play something. And then after cutting it, the next option we have got is resonance. Basically the cutoff point, it boosts the cutoff point. Yeah, and you can actually feel that much because of the filter. Let's try to do this maybe here without, and this is with. It's such a subtle thing, you can't actually really feel it that much. So that's what resonance does. It boosts the cutoff point. Keyboard tracking of the next option is keyboard tracking. The KBDTRK, keyboard tracking. Kind of like allows the filter to be more effective with lower notes that are this side, and less effective with notes that are this side. Yeah. So same as velocity tracking. Now it follows loudness, and what we have next is an envelope which determines how quick the filter takes into effect. This is an ADSR envelope. I think I explained what that does. This is the attack, the first option: attack, decay, sustain, and release. So the attack mainly just how long it takes for the note to play. Yeah, that's the attack. And then the decay is the maximum loudness it gets to. The sustain is when you're still holding the button down, or the level of the how loud you want it to be. And the release is how long it takes after you let go of the button, like for example of the note. How long does it take for it to get to 0? And this is for this envelope right here only affects the filter. It's not for the main note, actually. It's for the filter effect. Yeah. Okay, did we cover everything? Oh, and then for the next option that I didn't cover was the amount. The same thing that I said about knobs that go two-way. They also affect direction. Yeah. So let's play this and see what happens when we take it up and down. Let's see. Yeah, so when you changed up the amount, even the filter type also changed, as you could hear. Yeah. So if what am I getting at? Center seems to be low pass. Not really. So it switched up the amount as far as everything goes. I'm still on the first one, and we're 23 minutes in. Yeah. Hope this helps someone. Cool. So the next parameter will be the low frequency oscillator, or others call it operator. Low frequency operator. Instead of why it chose the way the operator instead of oscillator, because it kind of controls, or its operator controls a wave, or an oscillator, a wave, but it doesn't create its own wave. It creates a movement, but not really. It creates movement, but not without its own oscillator. But that movement can be used to interfere with the movement of an oscillator. Yeah, so it creates movement, but that movement can be used to interfere with an oscillator. Something like that. Yeah, I hope you get it. So already, like a wave already has most waves, like waves are moving, as you can see. For example, wave is moving, yeah, and this wave already has its own movement, but the low frequency oscillator also alters the movement of the wave that already has movement, like alters that movement, creating, yeah, but while altering that movement, but while not actually adding a new wave to it. Not what I say. Yeah, making it harder for myself. So let's say this is moving. Let me just draw something right here. This is moving. This is like a wave. Ta 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 ta. Let me just do this. Sure. So let's say we have a wave. Yeah. So this is the normal wave. So maybe let's say, let me just we actually, if you alter it a bit with maybe with low frequency oscillator. The same wave maybe might, I don't know, move a bit more quicker or wobblier, but what's really being altered is just the wave, but no other extra wave is being added to it. No extra wave sound like synth or sine or so whatever. No extra wave. No new oscillator is being added to it, but just the movement is being added to it. Yeah, kind of. I don't know. It's confusing myself. It's more practical to understand the more you use it than just to explain it. I don't know why. So let's start with the first thing we have. Okay, so for this one, we're going to work backwards. Yeah, we're going to work backwards. So we're starting from this side. Sure. We're starting from this side, going towards this direction. So moving this way. Why? Because it makes sense in a bit. So the first thing we got here is the cutoff, the destination. It determines what we're going to affect. We can affect the cutoff point, the frequency, and unison detune, the levels, etc. So once you understand it with one, you understand it with everything. Yeah. So, and this is the normal sound. And the next option will have to be, for as long as the amount is on the center, nothing is happening. When the amount starts going up and down, then that's when you start to hear something. And for this one, the amount actually, since it's on the center, like I said, then it does two things. It's mostly directional. So if you move it to the right, then the movement will be the modulation. The LFO movement will be to the right, going to the right, and if you move it to the left, to be going backwards, forward, and backwards here. So let's start with forward. Forward motion. So as you can hear that, and then the attack. This is just the only envelope with the low frequency oscillator. Is like determines how quickly you want the movement, the effect to actually take into effect. And then the next point will have to be the shape. So the shape determines how the low frequency oscillator actually interacts with how it manipulates whatever parameter you added this side. So with a sine wave, it's kind of a very gentle, very subtle. With the saw, it's a bit more rough and a bit more abrupt. But with the square wave, it's just like I think there's a song that I heard. What song was that? It uses a square with kind of abrupt type of like cutting. Let me just like this. Let me just play it. So that is not smooth in any way. That is not smooth. So when I change it to a sine wave, it's a more movement. I think this what's the name of the song? I think the song is Moonlight, something. Yeah, it's Moonlight, and that's the kind of effect they used. Low frequencies movement that they used. It should have been, I don't know, with some more effects and some stuff like that. You can actually design it with this super. So I won't take the time to do that. I'm not good at recreating sounds. Just create random ones depending on what I need to use. And then the rate actually determines how fast the movement you want the movement to be. For example, let me play this, and so that you can hear as I increase the rate. So with low oscillation, the movement is actually slower. If you actually speed it up so much, it could actually turn into like one note. That's the difference between these. Like it's maybe C4. I think C4 is called something like 440 hertz. It vibrates at 440 hertz. Let me just check. I don't know. Is it 440? Yeah, here where it's speaking. So it's just a wave vibration at about 440 hertz with a. So let me just, that's somewhere here. That's why you see it. Somewhere here, as you can see, this is 450. This is the 450 mark, and it's somewhere here 440. Yeah. So the difference between these tonal ones and these and the movement created with the low oscillator, it's actually kind of slower. If it was that fast, it would just create a new tone, and that would just like conflict with that. And like, so low frequency oscillator is actually slower movements. Yeah, very, very slow movements. Slow. I think there are some that just like go super fast, but like most of them are just like super slow. So this is at 30 hertz, and for that one was at about moving up 440. You see the difference there? It's a lot. Yeah, so most low frequency oscillators is actually slower. Yeah, hope that helps out. Okay, and then the next is the type of rate that you want to have. So the first one just creates a movement that's a repeated movement throughout. The second one just creates one movement, and that's about it. So like this, for example, listen to this every time you know this played. Okay, that's one. After one, then it's done. Like and it's done like that. Yeah, and then it goes back to normal. So, but with the time sync, you get a more accurate option as far as making choosing a rate, which so it is synced to the tempo. Yeah, so you get more like 1 1 1 2. We get more precise measurements. If you want something that's like precise with like as far as like the oscillation you want to work with, the type. Yeah, and that's about it with the low frequency oscillator. Let's move up down next to the level. So the level, this is like the master, and this is like the output and everything. This is the master. This is the envelope that controls those things. The main oscillators. Yeah, this is the actual envelope that controls the sound you are hearing, how it comes out. Yeah. For example, if I play this. And if I do this, there we go, somewhere there maybe. So I just create a part. Wait, we can try like this. Sure. I just so this is the. Effect, and if you want to work with bar, is mostly one of the effects that you really want to work. And it creates That's how you create a pad. You just raise the attack and like delay how long it takes for it to actually plug and whatnot. Yeah, the next we have is panning, determines which ear you get to hear the sound. You can move the sound from left to right. The center means that's like it's like in on the center. Yeah. So like you can see this is for stereo. This is sound in the center. And this is another moving one direction. The sound actually does move through this side. And if I since stereo it kind of goes everywhere, but so this so they're not moving this side. So they're all moving to the right. Yeah. So that's what that does. And then the next parameter is actually the output, which is the volume knob. Yeah, it determines how actually loud. So after going through this one, the other ones I'll go through quicker because some of these settings will actually be repeated throughout. Yeah. And I'm already at 36 minutes. Whoosh. It's a pretty long one. Yeah. So let's go. So this is the output here. Yeah. Pretty cool. So the next one we got is modulation. Yeah. And remember, for most of this, some of these parameters which have a knob which is on the center, most of them are inactive as long as it's on 0, and only take effect when you start in choose a direction going either this way or this way. That's when they become active. And the destination, like everything, determines what is being affected. The destination determines what you select here, determines what is being affected. Yeah, and these are currently the options that you have. You wanna affect, and this is for these are in the range, the post-wave range. This is for like how much movement you want. You want 1 semitone of movement, 4 semitones, a 4 octave, up to that's of movement. How much movement do you actually want? So let's say you choose 6, and let's say this is what we have here. And just raise up the sound a bit, and let's add movement. Let's say we add movement to the panning. Yeah, we actually do that. So, just a minute. I think this takes effect. Let's move on to the next one. So the rate. So I want to actually let me try the pan. I think I have to turn this on for that to take effect. Yeah. So let's what do we have here? So the first option is the poly again. It's different from the voices, but it all deals with voices. Different from the first one. The first one determined how many voices we can hear with one note, and this determined how many notes can be played when we go on voices. So currently it's on 4 voices. If I play 5, like maybe like if I put it on 2, only two will be heard. Despite being 3 notes being played, or you'll only be able to hear 2 multiplied by the 3 voices selected previously. Yeah, that's what that does. So depending on what you wanna use. So mine was at 4, mainly because mine was at 4 because mostly I'm only working with so 1 2 3 4. Yeah, I'm working with mostly just like 3 triads and the bass line. Maybe that's so that's like 4. And if I wanted to work with something more like maybe a top melody, I would have to like increase that to about maybe 8. I don't know, something like that, or maybe just 6. Yeah. So that's that. And what do we have here? The first, so that's, and then for transposing, it's more like that's pitch, that affects the pitch. And every number is like one semitone. This is going down and this is going up. Yeah, so you go by 12, then that's a 4 octave. I think that just this allows a 4 octave up, a 4 octave down. That's what you determine. And then the next option will have to be, this is the slide. It determines, it allows for notes to slide into each other. You can hear that almost swapping, but if you add 10 on legato, that goes away. Sure. There's an option that allows for only the notes that actually slide into each other to actually slide. Let me see what happens right now. So that's the sliding. And we got the arpeggio. So if we turn this on, to kind of create like random patterns off of just this. So just do this. Random patterns off of these chords and make music. This is something that like the song I talked about does. So let's choose maybe up and down movement, and you will get chords from that. It's easy if you don't want to create something and it just generates everything for you. So yeah. So the range is how many octaves should be moving the sound be. So this is like 2 octaves. We can raise it up to 4. And the arpeggio rate is like the movement type you want. So you can go maybe to like, and the best part about the rate which shows like this is time synced rate. So like to always be related to the tempo. And back to, let's just add some effects and see how this works. Yeah, so that's what that does. We got legato, we got constant, and then mono mode does the same thing. And the final parameter we have for the super saw will have to be, and here it is. We're looking at the effects. We're up at 45 minutes just talking about one synth. Oh my god, so much. We haven't even talked about a lot of the use cases for it. There's just so much. Anyway, the first thing you see is distortion. I think this is I think there's it should have two types of distortion. There's decimal distortion. I think it's called decimal. The other one is overdrive. And mostly me, my favorite type of the one I usually use is overdrive. Kind of just creates this warmth, this richness. Just play, just add a distortion effect here. And as you can see, so the first one here, the one that says drive should be the overdrive one. And then the beat crash thingy here should be the same thingy. Yeah, I don't know. We'll go through this next time. So let me just try to hear which type this is. So this is the drive, and then this is the gain. Okay. So and then we'll put the delay time, determine the delay time you want. And as far as this goes, this is for feedback. The delay feedback determines how many times that you can hear, you get to hear it back. You get to hear the effect back. So there's also a delay filter here. And you also have a delay. You also have a delay mix. How much delay you want to hear. So now you can hear delay. When the delay mix goes down, you can hear the delay. So as you can, when I click it over, you can still hear that echoing. So the delay feedback determine how many of those you actually get to hear. So you just actually can increase this number as much as you want. You also get to add the filter. With every delay, the filter takes more and more effect. Yeah, with every bouncing of the sound. Yeah. So that's it for the super saw. Oh, for the 7 minutes. Oh my god. I don't know if I should just continue with these or. And by the way, give this, if you made it this far, please like the video, subscribe, and give it a share to another producer might benefit from it. So some of these things I just had to like figure out by myself along the way, and I hope I'm not doing a bad job, because I also used to watch stuff to help me learn these things, but like most of the stuff didn't actually help me that much. Depends, because I don't know, maybe it's because the way that people explain it, people explain certain things, like they're talking to people who actually understand the music things, and like who actually. So I've just tried to keep it as simple as I possibly can. I don't know if this helps. I don't know. I hope it does. So let's add the second one. The second one would have to be a direct wave sampler. It's the easiest one to work with. Oh god. Should I just pause and then start another one so that we can have another video? So that this should just be its own video. And then so that I can actually go on to, so this will just call this super saw. And then we go on to the other one, which will be called direct wave sampler. Yeah, and moving on to the direct wave sampler. So as you can see, basically there is no sound as far as when you just open it up. So you have to click the right corner to load in a sound. So these sounds are like presets, basically presets. You click there, and sure. So I think I do overload instruments. So for this one, I think I'll use something easy, something different. Let me say, sheesh. What do I want to do? Guitars. I want to do some guitars. Yeah. Concert guitar. I've used this a lot. create something real quick. Just a minute. Sure. Just messing this up. I don't know why I like to overthink things. Let's just do this. And there we go. FA is just an A. Okay, so we just try to bring everything closer. It goes here. The E. Let's see how this chord sounds. Going to making everything better. Just on something random, right? I don't know. In my one of my Bluetooth headsets is low, so I don't know if I pause for a bit, or I don't know the sound quality will be if I use my headsets. Okay, let's do it. Let's use headsets. I'm gonna pause for a minute and we'll get back to it. Hey guys, that's I'm back. Okay, I can only hope the sound is better. Only hope you guys can hear me better. Yeah. Don't like the first. I don't know which one don't I like. I go crazy and just start stressing about the chords, let's leave it at this. Okay, cool. And yeah, let's get started. So the first thing you see is the sample, the pitch, so I just lowered the pitch by an octave. This controls the pitch and it sounded moodier. Next thing you get is to fine tune. It's the fine tune. It also affects the pitch, but in a more subtle way. And underneath that we got the loop option. This allows for the sound to be looped. As you could hear, the sound was actually, I don't know where this was. So this allows for the sound to keep playing. As you can hear, after it keeps looping, it's on a loop. Yeah, so this is on. If this was off, the sample doesn't loop back. Yeah, and this is the reverse. Check it out. You can actually reverse what you played. Wait, what? You can't hear anything. I don't know with it. I don't know. Let me try something else. So this is the normal. The reversed. You can do some pretty creepy stuff with it. Yeah, I'm not doing that today. Temptation. Start actually creating something creepy with it, something totally moody. Yeah, so that's what that does. Now that you know the reverse, the legato kind of does the same thing we talked about as far as sliding notes, and kind of like slides into the next pitch. Yeah, continues the note into the next pitch. And if they overlap, they slide. Depending on how much slide time you have, slide time on. So this is an envelope. This is the mono. You only hear one note. Despite having multiple notes playing, that's the mono. Turn it off. So now the slide time, you know what that does. Speech sliding. The filter, we talked about everything here. The only thing we didn't talk about was, so the cutoff is where the effects, the part that's being affected. So let's choose a low pass filter for this one, I say. So we start to raise it. And like the cutoff point, resonance raises the cutoff point, boosts the cutoff point, the cutoff frequency. Keyboard tracking allows for there to be less effect. Higher the pitch, the more effect, the lower the pitch. So as you can see, the lower notes are highly affected. The top melody is kind of has less of an effect because of how high the notes actually are. Same thing with velocity tracking, but this, you can only hear this like this to be ineffective. For example, if I actually did something like this, if I went up and tried to adjust try to humanize the velocity a bit, so you could hear it on certain notes. Yeah, like that. So with the filter envelope, now that this envelope affects how long the filter takes to come into effect. So if it had a very slow attack, then you like listen to this. So this is like almost instantly. Now this is like from the get go, you get to hear it, and then you get so the direction was amount that we talked about earlier. So this is for direction. So also have a frequency envelope if you wanna actually alter the frequency coming in. So with this one, you can in a way almost like create phase effects. Yeah, and then we're back to the low frequency oscillator. We talked about this. This is the rate, it controls the speed. The shape determines the wave in which is used to alter the movement. Yeah, the characteristic of the movement. The attack determines how long it takes for the effect to get into effect, for the oscillator, low frequency oscillator to actually come into effect. The amount determines the direction. Yeah, so you determine the direction, this right or left, to want to go forward or backwards. The destination determines what you want to affect. Is it the frequency, the level, the point? So let's try out with the filter. Let's say, for example, you can hear that wobble. Let's make it random. You don't know what you're getting. With the square, it's like it's more jumpy. It's more jumpy that way. I only hope these are working right. We're still gonna keep time and not have good audio. Yeah, and that's that. Also, what's the next parameter? Oh, we just covered everything. Wow, that was quick. 14 minutes, 15 minutes. Oh, cool. Moving on to the next one. The next one will have to be mini synth. Is it long? I was trying not to pass the 1 hour mark, and we already passed the 1 hour mark. The mini synth. Sheesh. First thing we're gonna go through will have to be not the master, really. Oscillator, fix the master. How is this? How is this designed? Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go through the mini synth, and the first thing I noticed when I played the mini synth was that it was super loud. So let's start out with choosing a wave type. So the first thing you have is an oscillator here. Let me just clear these codes because clearly they won't do anything for me. And let me just try to load up, I don't know, let me just try to import the MIDI code progression. Yeah, instead of creating one. And yeah, so first knob here is the oscillator kind. You've got a bunch of options from saw, whatever you want to choose. So I'm gonna go with just the saw with something simple. And so in the next option I've got the modifier. You get to modify this. After that, the next option you have got is the noise. You can actually add noise. pitch, also have pitch control. Yeah, that's cool. And you also have the option to add a filter. The next option will be the filter, the cutoff point. So that's a low pass. The resonance, as we talked about earlier, boosts the cutoff point. Keyboard tracking affects how everything interacts. And then this is the envelope for the filter. For it to take effect, as we talked about envelopes, the attack, decay, sustain, release. The attack, the start of the sound, the decay is the peak, the sustain is while the note is still being held where you want it to be, yeah, and the release is how long it takes for it to go completely down to zero. And the amount is the direction in which the amount of this is at 50. So if the amount is at 50, then it is already in effect, and the only thing that it does is add to it or reduce to it. So it's different from the ones which had an amount which was on zero, like you saw with let me just try to show you, like you saw with let's say Super So, for example. See, like for this one, the amount is at zero, so that it was not in effect, but it was on the center. But for something like this, it's in effect because it's not in the center, but it has already as a number of 50. Yeah, so it's already in effect. That's the difference there. I hope that helps. Yeah. Wow. And so this is an envelope generator. That's what EG means. And back to the next one. The next one will have to be a low frequency oscillator. It looks different, but it's the same principle. Destination, determine what you want to affect. Modulation will, how much of it that you want. And the low frequency oscillator destination for the filter, for the LFO. And the shape you determine here. The rate, which is the speed, and the amount, how much of it do you actually want. Yeah, and then I'll go into the master. This is where you find the envelope for the actual sound. Yeah, if you want to create a pad, whatever you want to do, this is where you do it. And the voice mode, poly means you can play multiple, mono or lead, depending on which one you want to go with. And the slide, as we talked about, it's a normal slide. There was slide time, and this is a slide. Yeah, and that was like for how fast the slides in, and this one just allows you to slide in two notes into each other. Yeah. And for effects, we do have distortion. So these are the two types of distortion that I tried to talk to you about earlier. So there's a drive. You listen to this. The drive is like the type that makes everything like warm, and the decimal kind of like just like destroys everything in a gentle way, in a cool way. Staying tone. So this is so that's a decimal. It kind of has this like rough aesthetic to it, but the overdrive or drive has like that warm feel to it. And this is so cool. So we just made right now. Trying to make stuff. The next effect we have is the delay. So the knob right here, the button on the corner, allows you to turn it on and off. Damn, I feel thirsty. Been talking for a while. That's super long. So usually it might be recording around this time, normally around this time, but I might have not feeling too good, so I'm not recording. And I just put out like a bunch of songs. So currently like a bunch of songs. And I think I just passed the 300 song mark on Spotify. Yeah, so you can go check that out on my Spotify. Currently I've uploaded over 300 songs currently. Yeah, just put out a load, like over 100 songs a year. So just put out a load. Yeah, so go show some support. And if you haven't already, subscribe, like, share. Thanks, guys. So the delay, the feedback determines how many times you get to hear the entire sound playing back. So let's do this. You can hear that, right? Yeah. Let me just let me give you an example with something else. But from this one, let's take this out, turn this off. It's too everywhere. What did I do? Sure. Okay, so notes are even off. Oh yeah, I know why they are off. Sheesh. OMG. Where was that? Just leave it like this first of all. So that's for the feedback. The feedback time, or the delay. The feedback determines how many of those bouncing vocals you get. This is a filter. The mix, as we talked about, the filter, it depends how much you want to cut off. The mix is a mixture of between dry and wet. Yeah, so the lower it goes, the higher, the higher it goes, the more. And then the time is like how fast you want the delay to come in, how much, the speed of the delay. So you determine that. And then there's the chorus effect. It's more like a stereo thingy. You get to choose the rate. So let's go. Let's take it on. Let's turn this off. Let me just try to find the preset. Like, I don't know, keyboard maybe. What type of keyboards do we have? Nothing nice. You just remember this. Filter, wait. Let's turn the low frequency ones, this off. The rate. Destination. Modulation. And there we go. Where was I? The chorus effect. Oh, okay. Oh, the delay is on, so that's what I'm really saying hearing. So it was confusing, like what is that bouncing thing? Yeah. Now that we got that, let's go with the solo. let's pause. And the chorus effect kind of like does that stereo effect, and there we go. Okay, let's try to play something else. Maybe let's go and see. So with it off, we kind of have more of a mono sound. It's just right here, but when I turn it on, you get a more spread out sound. And the speed and the depth determine how big you want it, and the mix, how really big you want the stereo field to be. The next thing is a phaser, as we talked about earlier, but this only difference here is that we got more options. We determine the speed of the phase, the width, the feedback, the frequency of this at which starts from, and the mix. Yeah, and that is it for the mini synth. Moving on to the next one. What is the next one? Oh my god, I've got 3 more. Oh, 3 more to go. So the JMS, cool. I think this is the only one that supports subtractive synthesis. Yeah, this is it. The big guy. So here we go. So this is the GMS synth. Yeah, so this is the GMS synth we're currently using. Let me just rename this. Channel settings, rename this GMS. Change the color. Okay, so the first option we do have is the cutoff, which is for as a filter. The first option we have is a filter, and the next option is the resonance, as we have talked about. It boosts the cutoff point. The next parameter we have is the attack. How there's an envelope of an attack and decay. How quickly the filter comes into effect, and how loud does it peak. Yeah, and then we have got an amount for the filter. Then there's keyboard tracking, which determines how much the filter affects the keyboard. And then we've got the kind is kind of like the slope, the filter slope. So for 12, let me see which one. This is the lower the number, the stiffer the, and then let me show. Or it should be, I don't remember, but one of them should be like this, and the other one should be like this, like one of these slopes. Yeah, so I think it should be, okay, just look it up. It said the lower one should be the one with the most like a stiff slope. I don't know, you check it out. Take the time to check it out. Yeah, you check it out. Or you can just notice how harsh it reacts, and you know, like, okay, yeah, this is it. This is the harsh one. This is the one that you don't play with a lot. Yeah. So you get 3. So you do get 3, you get the low pass with the 12 slope, and the low pass with the 24, and the high pass here. And by the way, the GMF synth has 2 oscillators, so that's A and B. You determine which ones you want to go with. Cool, that's nice. And you also get to affect the next option you see is pitch. You affect the pitch of B, yeah, and for A you can fine tune A. So what I like to do when I'm choosing one, so this is the balance here. I like to take it down, and as far as whatever I play, I'm only playing the second one. I'm only playing B right now. When I find what I like, I turn it up so that I can only hear A alone. Okay, so just figure it out. The slope that's really so the low pass 24 is actually like a more gentle curve, and the 12 is a gentle, and then the 24 is like I just said it after playing it. So it's that easy. Just sometimes you just have to play something and listen, and you know that okay, yeah, this is harsh. Oh yeah, what was I trying to do right now? It was yeah, remember now. So after you find what you want, the sound you want, you can just bring it back to the center again and balance it out as you would like. And this is then you also have a noise option, the white noise. Then the next option you have got is modulation, and this is one of the coolest modulation things out there. So you modulation amount, this is the amount of modulation you actually want. C, E, still close. I'm going to invert them again. So you got the ring, the FM, the synth, the filter. So this kind of thing is the type of like what you want to go. Frequency modulation, synth, the ring, and the filter. Yeah, the type of modulation you want. And then the next thing you have got is the attack and decay. As we were going through these again, as we're going through these, and then the EG, that's the envelope generator amount. How much of this if you want to affect. And the next one you have got actually 2 parameters that you can alter, which is the modulation destination, what you want to modulate, oscillators or and then the range, what movement do you want to, 2 semitones, 7 semitones, or an octave, whatever you choose. An octave is actually 12. Yeah, you determine. And then the amount. Then the next you have got the level. So the level in this case acts as the master, which is the first thing you will see is the level is the volume output, and then the second one will be the panning, which will allow you to move the sound from left to right, followed by an envelope. This is an ADSR envelope. There is another type of envelope which is I think it should be the ADSH. It has hold, and what else does it have? It has hold, and there's another one. We'll let you know about it when I remember it. So that was another feature apart from hold. Yeah, then here this is an envelope generator. So you get to generate an envelope right here, and then you determine what you want the generated envelope to affect by clicking on the over here. And then you can also how it reacts with velocity. You can just turn that on and to be less effective with lower notes and or more effective with lower notes and less effective with higher notes. Yeah, and this is the low frequency oscillator. You determine the direction of the movement with the amount by going right and left, which will mean forward and backwards. And you determine the shape by choosing the shape, how you want it to affect the sound, and the destination of filter, which is the destination of which way to use the filter, modulation, frequency level, and panning. This is the destination. This is what you want to affect. And then the rate is the speed, but this is a time synced. Remember, whenever you're dealing with like 8 bars or 3 over 1 over something 4 something like that, these are time synced effects, rates, and they actually respond to the tempo. So if you speed up the tempo, they also change likewise. So it's pretty good. It helps you have a consistent sound when working here. So voices, the first thing we have here is transposing, which is just pitch shifting, and the next option is the ability to slide notes. Followed by quiet D tune. It's pretty nice. And this one is choir. What was this? So was this stereo or strum? I don't know. Can't remember. So voices, I just added trio. Now you get a more full sound. So for the first time now you can actually hear all 4 notes. Earlier on when I was playing everything, you could just hear one apparently. My bad, didn't bother to check. And you can also get the option to choose. So this is the mono and the auto. Never really use those. And then you got the flat mode or chord or octave. You determine what you want to go with. Yeah, let's go with effects. Effects, the first thing we do have is so it's got 3 effects. Out of these 3 effects, you get to choose for this this effects panel has got options to choose: distortion, flanger, phaser, low pass filter, high pass filter, delay, reverb, panning, ring, and the vox. And wait, do we actually have a ring option just here? The effects, that's just alone. No, we don't not have. Cool, no problem. Yeah, and so just use one to explain. The kind determines the effect you want, the amount of that effect, and the rate, which is time synced, and the LFO shape, which is the type of modulation you're gonna get. And with X and Y, let me just try this out and see how they respond. So this one is it's more like speeching, and the other one is determining the amount. Yeah, this is filtering in a way. Yeah. Okay, cool, and we're done. Easy as that. And there we go. We're going to transistor bass. Next chapter, transistor bass. Cool. For transistor bass, okay. So it starts with the main. I'm gonna do this. Although it only has 3 parameters, easier, makes my work a bit easier. Yeah, let's go. And then by the way, I think by now my headset should be a bit charged. Why did I even throw them? Just keep throwing stuff. I found them. Yeah, so I'm about to switch audio. Let's just pause it a bit so I can take these off, and where are these? They should be charged by now. Yeah, I hope that audio transition made sense. Okay. Wow. Yeah, go back. So we've got three parameters: the main, distortion, and post release. Mostly this is the transistor base is a monophonic instrument, so meaning that we only hear one note. So all these other notes, all these other extra notes are just pointless. We can't hear them. Yeah, so let's go. So you can hear that. Yeah, just felt it more bassy. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, sounds work. Let's just do some of. Let's do it like this. Yeah. So the cutoff is a filter. Sure. Oh. Yeah. Better. Resonance, cutoff point, to boost the cutoff point, envelope modulation, how much movement you want, the decay, that's the peak sound, and then you also have the option to accent it, to alter it a bit, then the waveform. Yeah, pretty cool. So distortion, remember what we talked about? Turn it on. If favorite will have to be the drive, and this is the for the drive, the one with the HP is the drive. It's the pre distortion. Yeah, so like it affects the sound before it gets distorted. I don't know. It's the pre. Yeah, you get, imagine like you get to affect the sound before. Yeah. So it's called pre-distortion. That's another name for it. And this is the drive volume. You determine how loud you want the warmth to be. Also have pulse width. Pretty cool. LF4 speed with movement, and LF4 like versus pulse width over here. And you also got a lot of like different types that you can actually try out. So that's it for transistor bass. Don't even use it a lot. So next one I'm just gonna show you have to be the last one. One more and we're done. Just one more. The slicer. Yep. So mainly this was just the thought behind this design was just drums. Most of the drum kits don't have loops. It's crazy. Oh, somebody says it do have drum loops. BPM. Nice. Ooh. Yeah. So the range is from B3 to F10. You can also change the pitch. The pitch knob affects everything else. The sensitivity determines how the cuts are going to be. This is super long. Let's try to, let me set full range. Right, full. Okay. Never use the full range. They said full range. Let me just try to find a different one. Sure. Let's do this option. Delete this. Let's go with slicer. Let's open in slicer. And we try to find a shorter sample. Do I even have drum loops? I rarely download by drum loops. Honestly, I just deal with like one shots mostly. What about this? Does this have loops? These are breaks. Yeah, let's see what it is. Yeah, these work perfectly well. So just to do that up, sensitive. So what it usually does, the slicer works on it. It senses the software is designed to sense for peaks, the audio peaks, and every audio peaks is interpreted as a sound, as the starting of a sound. You know, like when you like that peak in every picking point. So as you can see, over here, it's multiple points. They're like peaks. They're the ones that like slices. Yeah, and these slices are divided into normal parts, into multiple parts. So this is on auto. So usually leave it there and you're good. If you're dealing with drums, don't really go crazy with this one as far as melodies go. And maybe if you got the time for it, but it's not really the best. Yeah, for complex melodies, maybe for simple chords, yeah, it might do. But for more complex melodies, it's really. And you can also change the sensitivity. If you go to manual sensitivity, allows how sensitive it is. The more sensitive it is, the more points it will actually have, and the less sensitive it is, the less points it will actually have. So the attack is how long for the sound takes to play, and the decay is what's the peak's loudness. The pitch, if you adjust the pitch, or adjust the pitch of everything, like for example. Yeah, as you can see, so the pitch affects everything. So we've got the sustain. So when the sustain is off, when you play a note, let's say it goes off when it's done. And if you play hold, when to keep playing and when you hold the note, let's say. So if I choose to continue, so like this, as long as I'm holding it, it will keep looping to keep going until it reaches the end. And to the end, this is the one. Even if I just click on a note just once, it will play until the very end. I'm not doing anything right now, so that's what it does. That's the main difference. And the mono is like when you choose one, if you don't play two at the same time, one cancels out the other one. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So you want to keep that off. And so these is what we're dealing with right now. So this is everything. So this is everything divided. You can actually delete that, and as I said, actually start arranging everything to your liking. Yeah, so just random looking things. So you can create patterns depending on. So what is the kick? Where's the kick? So these cards were not that fine. Let's try different cards. Let's try this one and see how this one goes. Oh, okay. Oh. So this time I'll keep this. Why? so that I know what note length to work with clearly. That was my problem with the last one. So you click on a note, then you keep that note length. See now. Okay. Oh, you only play one. Is it on mono? Yeah, why they put it on mono? I don't know where things are. Hey, hey. That's a very, very basic pattern. Super welcome. Okay. Yeah. Let me see. And it will be dope. Just add like we're dealing with right now. Just slicer. Some reverb. Yeah, let's stop. If we add a little bit of a melody, let's see if I can add something real quick. I don't know. So yeah, let's see. So we just see how usable it actually is. Yeah. using Bluetooth headsets, so there will be latency for my voice and the audio. Yeah, this will be latency, so this will be off beat automatically. That's why wow, technology. Interesting. Yeah. Hey. So yeah. Thank you guys for listening. Much love, and I'm out. Peace.